Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another review. This time around, I'm going to do a review for episode 15, season 5, The Walking Dead, or The Walking Dead, whatever. Try. Oh, yeah. One more episode left till the season 5 finale, which is episode 16, Conquer, which is next week's episode. And yeah, apparently they're going to be doing a season 5 marathon on Sunday, I believe it is. Yeah, I think logically it'd be Sunday. Very weird though, because normally when the season, or whether it be mid-season finale or mid-season start premiere, whether it be the premiere, mid-season finale, mid-season premiere, or the actual finale to a season, normally they have a marathon from seasons 1 up until current point. But here they only advertised the season 5, so I don't know if they're gonna be doing from season 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Um, yeah, I'm probably not gonna miss that because I have spring break. I'm gonna be binge watching Walking Dead like a fucker. So yeah, before I begin though, 10 second spoiler warning as usual for those that get to actually watch the episode and haven't already. Stop the video, go check it out and come back and watch the rest of this review. 10 second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up. So for those that have yet to actually watch the episode and haven't already, please don't comment down below or be messaging me. That never give you a fair warning because as usual, I did. Okay, so yeah, this was almost a perfect episode. And there's one moment in this whole episode that kept it from being perfect. I mean, I swear to God, it was a perfect episode. And then there's this one slight action that brought the whole grade, the whole fucking episode way down into a decent episode. And I'm gonna get to that later. Yeah, I could rant on that moment. It's 10 seconds. Those 10 seconds are the worst part of this episode because of the timing and just what happens in those 10 seconds. Um, oh my gosh. So yeah, probably the worst part of the Walking Dead TV show. Those 10 seconds. Yeah. So yeah, basically this time around you have Rick, and he's basically gonna try to go off against Peter. And that which was hilarious. Basically he already knows that Peter, or Pete, sorry, he already knows that Pete is beating Sam and Jesse and possibly Ron, which is his other son, Pete's and Jesse's other son. He knows he's beating them, at least Jesse at the very least, um, and possibly Sam. Ron is who knows because we really haven't seen much of him. Um, so we know he's beating his family up, and Ricky's not gonna really stand for it. He tells Diane, and she knows about this. She says, "Oh, I wish it would have gotten better," and he's like, "You knew about this? How can you let this happen?" And she was because like, and she says, "Because he's a doctor. What else can I do? He's the only doctor we have." Um, yeah, what a dumb bitch. Um, I'm gonna get to her later too, possibly in another video as well. So yeah, basically throughout the episode you have Rick trying to negotiate with Jesse, telling her how this could be better. They don't exactly have to kill Pete, despite the fact that he really wants to kill Pete. Um, he's not gonna kill Pete, and he sure as hell won't exile Pete because he knows people can't survive outside of the walls. He's been doing it for about 2.5 years, so he knows for sure he could probably survive because he's actually pretty strong. He's actually pretty muscular. Um, Maybe if he sobered up a bit, he'd be a bit of a better survivor. But I'm pretty sure he's still a strong survivor. And if he were to be in a group, he's a doctor, so there's that too. He's pretty valuable. So he knows exiling him, and even if he weren't a part of a group, he could always just come back because he knows where Alexandria is. Um, so yeah, so he doesn't really want to exile Pete because of the dangers. Um, and he's trying to control himself from killing Pete because, well, he's trying to control himself basically. So he comes up with this idea, which is similar to the comic books, where they just move him from one house to another. They separate the family. Pete goes to one house, and and Jesse and the children go to another house, and that's how it is. But Pete, he doesn't want to do that. Um, they kind of touch upon it really fast with Pete, but he's like, "Fuck you," and he starts doing the best, probably the one of the best fighting scenes. Uh, in The Walking Dead between Rick and Pete. I keep saying Peter, whatever. I mean, cause Rick, he's pretty strong too. I mean, he's gone against Shane. He went against the governor. He's gone against Pete. Um, is it fair enough that he's to say that he went up against Gareth? I mean, not really. I don't think it's really fair for me to say he went up against Gareth. He went up against Tyrese. He went up against Joe. So he's fought a lot of people when you think about it. Yeah, did he fight anybody in season one? The Vatos? I don't think did he fight the Vatos? I don't remember. The prisoners. He fought two of the prisoners. So it's fair enough to say that he's decently strong. I mean, he wasn't really able to beat the governor, but to be fair, he got shot right like seconds before it. So yeah. But whatever. Despite the fact, so here we have one of the best, probably one of the best fighting sequences we've had in The Walking Dead. For God's sakes, Rick is literally a home wrecker. He throws Pete through a window, which when that happens, I laughed my ass off. Oh my gosh, was that hilarious? So yeah, and then on the flip side, you have Aaron and Daryl, and I think they're on the track of the wolves, which I'll probably do a video on that. Who are the wolves or whatever. They're basically on track with the wolves. They see that there's some cut up bodies. They find this dead girl. Recently dead girl, by the way, tied up to a tree. She was probably eaten out by zombies, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if she was raped because she was naked. So there's that. And they notice there's a W on it, and Daryl, he kind of just goes in and says, if you find these people, we need to watch out. Basically that. Then you have Sasha, Rosita, and Michonne, and they're doing their own thing, basically killing zombies outside in the woods. Sasha, she's kind of gone AWOL, and she's just sniping down zombies that she sees in her tracks. Michonne and Rosita eventually catch up to her and help her. You have a little bit of stuff with Carl and Enid. That's actually pretty. Carl's got the moves. That's all I have to say. Yeah, Carl's got moves. He gets pretty close. Very flirtatious and really small space if you know what I'm talking. I was actually expecting them to kiss. I mean, like some kind of bullshit kiss. I was literally expecting them to kiss. I mean, not full on make out. Though I wouldn't be surprised because they're small space. Yeah, but it seems like they're developing some kind of relationship, if you know what I mean. Like maybe some girlfriend boyfriend bullshit relationship because they really don't know each other that much. I mean, they will connect. You could tell already they will connect. But for now, it seems like if anything, it's just some bullshit girlfriend boyfriend situation that I just know you and I really just like you and you have similar experiences. So I think for right now, they're just getting to know each other. But I think eventually will. I won't say it'll blossom to them, getting married or whatever is the equivalent to marriage in the apocalypse. I mean, maybe it could happen, but right now it's regular teenage bullshit romance. It's pretty similar to what I go through on a daily basis. Okay, yeah, I got the moves too. I got the moves like Jagger. I don't know. I just thought of that right now. But aside from the point, and yeah, and I thought this was a perfect episode. Perfect episode until the ending. And oh my gosh, oh my gosh, the ending was if it had ended at a certain point, it would have been perfect episode. I would have given it a 10 out of 10. Then there's this one point, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, and I swear to shit, it brought the grade down of the whole episode a lot because okay, so you have Rick, and after he throws Pete through a window, beats him up in the streets. He goes from the Pete and Jesse's house in the living room to outside in the streets. It's just funny as hell. And the fight's actually pretty well choreographed, and it's actually the film editing for that fight scene. It's actually pretty decent. Not as good as some of the other fight scenes we've seen with Rick, but it's still pretty good. Aside from the point. So Rick, he's just monologuing to everybody whoever's listening to him there in Alexandria. He's monologuing to Carl, Michonne, Carol, Glenn, Rosita. Then for the Alexandrians, he's monologuing to Reg, Deanne, Nicholas, Enid, Spencer, Sam. Who else was there in that section? That I can remember. I think that was it for everybody there. And Pete, Jesse, Sam, yeah, I said Sam, Carol. So he's basically monologuing and a few extras right there in the background, but whatever. He's monologuing to whoever would listen to him, and then these 10 seconds are the. Oh, what the fuck? Michonne comes up behind him and basically just whacks him out. Basically punches him with some. I don't know, not basically knocks him out, and the episode ends right there. It's the most bullshit ending for a Walking Dead episode. Okay, it's the most bullshit motherfucking ending for a Walking Dead. Like, what the fuck? It comes from the comics. That scene comes from the comics. And even in the comics, it's a terrible scene. I was really hoping they wouldn't put it in the TV show, but of course, they had to put it in the TV show. In the comics, that's probably one of the worst scenes or one of the worst um, panels, pages, whatever, in the comics. And it's just as bad in the TV show. It's 10 seconds. I was really hoping they wouldn't do it, but no, of course they do it. And why is it so bad? Why is it so bad? Because it basically throws away everything that Rick's been hoping, because Rick, Rick, Carol, and Daryl, and to some extent Michonne and Maggie as well, and Abraham, they've been slowly taking over Alexandria. Okay, they've been slowly taking over Alexandria, and Michonne, by her knocking Rick out, basically says that. I'm sorry if I'm rude, but I'm just really pissed with the ending. Basically says, yeah, I'm Michonne and I'm gonna be Deanna's bitch right now. Yeah, terrible fucking ending. And this isn't the first time, whether it be TV show, comic, or movie. This isn't the first time where an ending just fucks up the whole movie or whole episode or comic book or whatever. This isn't the first time. This isn't the first time where an ending just ruins and throws away the whole plot of a story. It happened in Birdman. I swear to God, if it had ended 5 minutes before it did end, because in Birdman, just very fast, let me rant on Birdman. Because I hated the ending to Birdman. Perfect. That was a perfect movie. Last 5 minutes coming, I thought it was, and it turned into complete shit. Well, it wasn't complete shit. But I think I gave it like an 7 or 8 out of 10. Um, for Birdman. So yeah, basically in Birdman, I thought it was gonna end right after the main character Reginald, or yeah, Bill Murray's character, was it Bill Murray? Um, Michael Keaton, sorry, where Michael Keaton's character shot himself on stage. But no, then because if you remember Austin Birdman, it seems like one continuous shot. So I thought, okay, they're gonna end here. But no, then they cut it. There's like maybe 30 seconds of just random cuts and montages and bullshit, and then they do an extra 5 minutes of them just doing the same bullshit, and that ending is complete bullshit, and that's 5 minutes. And I thought for that movie, there's a way where it still could have seemed like one continuous shot. Okay, so that's why I call it bullshit on that ending. Now here, I'm not gonna say they could have done one continuous shot. I mean, maybe they could have, but I highly doubt they would have and been capable of doing. Actually, they could have. They probably would have been capable, but it's not the style of The Walking Dead. Besides the point, if those 10 minutes with Michonne had not happened, I would have given this a 10 out of 10 perfect score. But with those 10 minutes, it basically throws away everything that the group has been leading up to, trying to take over Alexandria, and it's the most bullshit ending in The Walking Dead for an episode ever. It's the most 10 seconds. Oh my gosh. I'll probably do a video ranting on the end, and try whatever the fuck. Is it the ending? Is it a disappointment? Or, I don't fucking. I really want. I don't think it's gonna get many views. I'm gonna say that. Then again, not many of my videos get more than like 5 views. I do videos just because I love it, because I want to talk about stuff. But many of my videos don't get more than like 10 views, between like 5 and 10 views. I'm like, whatever, who gives a shit? But I think out of any Walking Dead video, that's probably gonna be one that's really gonna be ignored. So I'm just gonna rant on this one. That ending was complete bullshit, because you have Rick monologue. It seems like it's gonna be the evolution of something tremendous. It's gonna be a turning point, and then it's still a turning point, just for the worse. The last 10 seconds, complete bullshit. That's what I'm saying. The last 10 seconds is bullshit. I would have given this a 10 out of 10 if not for those last 10 seconds. Perfect score, 10 out of 10 if not for those last 10 seconds. So what the hell am I gonna give this episode on a rating from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent? I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. If not for that small fucking section with Michonne, I would have given it a perfect score. In the comics, same situation. It ruins the whole point of what Rick is trying to do. It ruins the whole fucking point. I mean, even if they hadn't killed Pete in this episode, I would have been completely fine if they would have killed Pete in the next episode, which they'll probably do. Again, that will probably lead into predictions. Oh God, why? Out of any scene, they could have transitioned from the comics to show, from paper to show. Any scene they could have transferred, they had to transfer that one. That's honestly my in the comics. That's the panel I hate the most, or page, or whatever the fuck I hate the most. And those last 10 seconds are gonna be the moments in those last 10 seconds. It's gonna be this. These last 10 seconds are gonna be the one moment in The Walking Dead to date in which I completely and utterly hate. I hate the last 10 seconds. I hate the ending. I hate it with a passion. I hate it in the comic books with a passion, and I think I hate it even more with a passion in the TV show because they transferred it, and it's even more bullshit in the TV show. I would have given this a 10 out of 10 if not for those 10 pathetic, idiotic piece of shit 10 seconds. Now I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. There's endings I hate. A good example would be Birdman. A good example would be the ending to Amazing Spider-Man, where it was issues 1 through 700. The ending to Amazing Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man run, was complete bullshit. I already knew what was gonna happen, but the execution, that was complete bullshit. There's a few endings out there where the plot or story or whatever seems like it's gonna lead to great things, and then the ending is just the most bullshit ending. It's either unprofessional, doesn't make sense, illogical, wouldn't realistically happen, idiotic, or it's just complete shit. And this is one of those endings where it's just complete shit, utter shit. Those last 10 seconds. Really wish that could have been written out. Yeah, sorry for ranting so much on the last 10 seconds of this episode. Just want to make sure you guys get the message. Worst 10 seconds in The Walking Dead ever. Aside from those last 10 seconds, the rest of the episode was fantastic. Were fantastic. Well acted, well written, some pretty good zombie kills and special effects, and overall it's pretty good. But again, the last 10 seconds more or less throws away most of the Rick plots from this episode and like the past 3 episodes in total. So that's why I hate it so much. So yeah, 7 out of 10 as I said before. And yeah, that's basically it for this review. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, and comic book reviews. Comment down below on your thoughts on this episode of The Walking Dead, specifically the last 10 seconds where Michonne knocks out Rick. What are your thoughts on that? Do you hate it with a passion as much as I do? Or do you think it makes sense? And if you do make sense, comment down below. Give me a good laugh. Aside from that, subscribe, comment down below. Like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. Follow me on Instagram, Daniel Mart. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.